The Amesha, whatever you want to call it, archwing, actually looks like one of the better ones. From all the photos and everything that were shown of this very early on, these were basically more wing-like than they actually ended up being. But basically this is like a trinity of the sky, which is a really weird thing to say since you're in space and the sky would be below you, not above you. But then again, in space it's all relevant, so the sky could still be above you. Well, I'm not going into that one. And this is basically a healing frame, and from everything I've seen so far, doesn't look that bad at all. To get it, you've either got to buy for 275 platinum. Of course, if you do want to build this archwing, you do have to go into the Tenno lab inside the dojo. Researching them can take quite a while because the cost of them are a pain, but the nighten extracts are huge for this. You've got 4 on the blueprint. I went one too many menus back. One thing I did like about them though is each part is only 6 hours to build instead of the 24 Warframe has. But there's 2 more nighten extract, 900 circuits, 3,600 polymer bundle, 5,500 alloy plates for the harness. The systems, not really that expensive, and also 6 hours as well because it's one control module, but unfortunately again 2 nighten extract, 6,700 salvage, 2,800 circuits. Yeah, these things are heavy on the nighten extract because there's 2 more, making a grand total of 10 of these things that are needed to build this archwing. I don't think, no wait, Vauban Prime did cost just a little bit more than this. When I equipped it, I was actually quite amazed because 200 shields, 200 power, 400 health, and 200 armor. The Eltron thing only has a little bit more when it comes to health and armor. Well, really, less armor, but more health. So that actually puts this thing up there because the Eltron is, well, it's a beast. The Itzal's definitely still better for maneuverability and speed. And amazingly comes with a D, a dash, and a V polarity in there. Oh, it's got a 1.1 sprint speed. The reason that's a big thing, the Eltron's is 0.9, and I think the Itzal itself's only, 1.2, so that makes it quite a quick. It's still slower than the Odonta, which is fine, but this thing is just ridiculously slow. So, wow, I didn't expect it to be that quick. After using this archwing for a few months, I'll admit this is a tad bit late. It's been on my to-do list, but never really gotten around to it. The biggest downside that I found to it has just got to be the third ability. Warding Grace. It renders the Warframe and nearby allies immune to status effects while slowing nearby enemies. Useful for the slowing the nearby enemies, it's up to 50% of the 50% speed slowness, however you want to word that. The immune to status effects, it's only really useful on the higher level stuff, but that's when this archwing really starts to come in useful. Because Warding Grace, Warding even, is the third ability. The first ability, Watchful Swarm, is tiny little drones that fly around you or allies, because you can cast it on allies, and it basically acts kind of like a shield. They'll intercept the enemy fire for a short amount of time. I think at most you can have 15. The number of drones is of course affected by power strength. I think I got up to 21, but that's just down to a lack of mods for Archwing more than anything else. I know I'm also doing these out of order, but the fourth ability, I forgot the name of it, Vengeful Rush, will take all incoming damage, transfer it into energy, while also giving enhanced range, duration, and power strength. Now it adds 10% to power range, power duration. I really am glad that this is affected by... It also affects nearby allies, I should say. So it increases the power, strength, range and duration for players within range. The range is 400 meters, but it is also affected by the range mods, which is really useful for this ability. And the reason I've done these very out of order is the second ability, Benevolent Decoy, is the way it works is kind of like Loki's decoy, where it attracts enemies to shoot at it rather than you. But any damage that it takes is converted into healing pulses. So it will heal you and nearby allies. This is why you really, really want to keep that Vengeful Rush going as much as possible, because it's going to add extra strength, because it is affected by strength. It's going to add extra range and duration, and Benevolent Decoy is basically this Archwing's party piece. So honestly, this Archwing, I mean, as long as you can keep the first ability, third ability, second ability going pretty much all the time. Oh, I would have loved to have seen Benevolent Decoy active in defense missions. Just put it on the thing you're supposed to be defending, but not literally on top, otherwise they'll be shooting at it as well. And you could probably just sit there and cheese your way through the defense missions, but Archwing defense missions have gone, I guess there's mobile defenses, but it's the basic healing side of this Archwing that was amazing. I mean, Watchful Swarm stopping damage coming in, Benevolent Decoy healing you and other players, Warding Grace slowing, I said warning again, didn't I? Warding Grace slowing down enemies so you can take them out quicker, and then Vengeful Rush making all of these abilities more powerful, with a longer range and a longer duration. This Archwing was absolutely amazing, but unfortunately it's a supporting Archwing, which means if you're going to take one of these in, you still need your Eltron to actually deal damage, as well as Itzal. Well, that one's still good for speed, but this kind of falls into quite a really decent Archwing, and I've enjoyed it a lot, and I think I'm going to stick with it, because though the Eltron's good, the Odonta's, well, it's the starting one, and the Itzal is just too weak to use all the time, just certain missions it's useful for. The Amesha is just a really nice all-round Archwing.